Okay, before we proceed further, let us take the moment to express our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed sponsors whose generous support has made this event possible. We extend our sincerest thanks to First Park Homes, Davis Paint, Houseland, Fiesta Communities, SMDC, Juraville Realty and Development Corp., E. Ganson Inc., A. Brown Company Incorporated, and the Golden Haven Memorial Parks. Once again, thank you for your trust and support in all our NREAS activities. And now, join us in recognizing and celebrating the dedications and leadership of the NREA national officers, advisors, chapter presidents, and secretariat whose tireless effort drive our organization forward. Let's watch and get to know them through this EVP. Okay, that's our hardworking officers and chapter presidents and the secretariat. Once again, to all our participants, it is my honor to introduce to you the NREA Executive Vice President and the Chief Operating Officer of the First Park Homes, Ms. Lauren B. Sales, to deliver the welcome remarks.
A pleasant morning to all our attendees and distinguished guests. This is yet another exciting business forum hosted by the National Real Estate Association, or NREA. As the country strives to boost the growth of businesses in key areas, the government is committed to build world-class infrastructure to its infrastructure flagship projects, or the IFPs. The recently updated list of IFPs will be implemented mostly through the Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, and the Department of Transportation, or DOTR. Through the IFPs, the government reaffirms its focus on infrastructure development as a key driver to our economic growth vis-a-vis improving the lives of the Filipino people. Today, we are honored to have as guests ASEC Leonel Cray P. Develes, Assistant Secretary, Project and Planning Department of DOTR. Will walk us through our topic, infrastructure projects updates. As we all know, DOTR's mandate, among others, is to deliver fast, safe, efficient, and reliable transportation services. Consequently, the DPWH is responsible in planning, design, construction, and maintenance of this infrastructure, especially the National Highway, flood control, and other public works. Without further ado, I now formally open our online business meeting. Welcome, everyone, and thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lauren, for your welcome remarks. And before we proceed, let's watch for our invitations and the house rules.
In line with our membership development program and to achieve a dynamic partnership among individuals and corporate entrepreneurs, we take pleasure in inviting you and your company to be a regular member of the National Real Estate Association, Inc., NREA, the one-stop trade organization in the industry. The present global trend is inclusivity and not exclusivity. We, in NREA, welcome new members regardless of nationality, belief, and membership in other organizations. Also, we are encouraging our members to become an active member of our working committees. NREA help our members to build network. For more information, you may contact our NREA Secretariat at telephone numbers 02-912-3492 and 725-48731. You can also reach them at their mobile and Viber numbers at 0927-923-1113 and 0965-539-2012 or email them at nrea_org@yahoo.com.
And for our house rules on this webinar, kindly mute your microphones and always turn off your cameras. Only the MCs, moderators, officers, and speakers are allowed to use the microphone and camera. Type your questions in the chat box, and the moderators will assess and handle the questions after all the speakers have spoken.
Okay, that's Sir Nino and Sir Archie from the Pampanga chapter. And now, as we start our program proper, may we call Miss Sophia Yara from the NREA Metro CBD chapter to introduce our special guest and speaker for today.
Hello, good morning. To our guest speaker for today is from Department of Transportation. He serves as Assistant Secretary for Planning and Project Development. He was previously a project manager of the North-South Commuter Railway System. He has also been involved in several transportation projects, such as the Regional Airports Public-Private Partnership, NAIA PPP, PNR, South Long Haul, Mindanao Railway, and Subic Clark Railway. He joined Department of Transportation in 2015 after obtaining his degree in International Economics from Georgetown University's School of Foreign Service. Let us all welcome Assistant Secretary Lionel Craig de Velez.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
I also understand that there is a presentation. Yes, thank you so much. So I'll just tell the Secretariat when to move the slide. So again, thank you everyone for having me today. I will just give an overview of the Transportation Modernization Program of the Department of Transportation. Next slide. So the infrastructure agenda of the Department of Transportation is anchored on the 8-point socioeconomic agenda of the Marcos administration. This is summarized in the Build Better More program. That's the flagship banner for this one. And one of our key thrusts is really to reduce transportation logistics costs and improve infrastructure. How we translate this into a more actionable mandate is we intend to develop a comfortable, accessible, safe, sustainable, and affordable transportation system throughout the entire country. Next slide, please. So this is also the thrust under the Philippine Development Plan 2023-2028. So this is our medium-term development plan for the country. So one of the key thrusts here is the development of intermodal facilities that will be connected and upgraded to achieve seamless connectivity. We will develop active transport networks. As discussed also and as reaffirmed during the recent traffic town hall by the president, the Bagong Pilipinas Town Hall in San Juan City last week. We will strive to improve our mass transportation systems. So new railways, new road-based transportation systems, new ferries. We will also improve our nautical highway, our existing airports. We will undertake massive improvements in our cargo and freight infrastructure. These are all also reflected in the National Transportation Policy. And one of the key items here is we really wish to have our transportation system more people-oriented and environmentally sustainable. So this dovetails, I believe, with the thrust of the real estate industry here in the Philippines to have better connectivity, better accessibility for its users, and have it integrated in the surrounding urban area. Next slide. So these are the thematic initiatives of the Department of Transportation. I think most relevant here for the NREA is the development of our, what we call the transit-oriented developments. So that's item 5. So this is linking land use, real estate development with transportation in a more seamless and holistic manner. So we plan on developing what we call transit-oriented developments throughout the country, especially in our mass transportation systems. Next slide. So how are we doing this, and how can the real estate agencies and associations participate? So we are updating, for example, our design standards. So we are trying to emphasize what we call level of service, improve accessibility, such as improving access for persons with disabilities, for women, for senior citizens. We are improving wayfinding. So that's how you navigate in the built space. We are also emphasizing what we call a Filipino brand and architectural standards to make areas pleasing to the eye, to be able to attract users, and to have a sense of ownership for the local community. This is partly related to what we have with green architecture, green transit facilities, and green, essentially green developments or green townships. This can be implemented in also standardizing and upgrading how we implement projects through the use of building information modeling. This is now being rolled out in many of our transportation facilities, such as the Metro Manila Subway, the North-South Commuter Railway, the Mindanao Railway, where building information modeling is really the thrust when it comes to designing and implementing and constructing our transportation facilities. We are also integrating this with more land use through geographic information systems and through really understanding the outputs of our transportation infrastructure. So we are making a best effort to measure the potential impact of transportation infrastructure, such as the energy usage, the ridership, the CO2 emissions that we are saving by moving people from private vehicles to mass transit. So this can be found in our monitoring and evaluation matrix. This is a sort of related, the last column, item number 4, is related to the NREA, but this is not related. I want to elaborate more on this because this is not limited to just informal settlers and resettlement. We are also moving towards affordable housing, making sure affordable housing is accessible to mass transportation systems, not just the relocation sites, but also Pag-ibig qualified sites. So we're trying to make sure this is accessible from a transportation perspective. Next. So this is the roadmap, I would say, when it comes to how are we building better. As you mentioned, we're building better more, but how are we building better? So we are actually we've actually finished most of our gap analysis when it comes to our transportation infrastructure. And as mentioned, we are prioritizing in our master plans, mass transportation, but mass transportation in areas that really need it and outside Metro Manila. So we are focusing as well on our other metropolitan areas, Metro Davao, Metro Cagayan de Oro, Metro Cebu. We have, of course, the Cebu BRT. In Davao, we have the Davao high priority bus system. So these are key thrusts of the department in other urban areas throughout the country. The focus is not just on Metro Manila. We are making sure that we have mass transportation in other parts of the country, in other urban areas. And this can be an opportunity for the members of the Real Estate Association, because this is providing more opportunities for business and more opportunities for new developments there. And the question, obviously, in many people's minds is, okay, we have all these grand plans, all these ideas, but how do we really pay for this? What is our funding strategy? So traditionally, we have been engaged with official development assistance, foreign loans from our partners from Korea, from the Japanese government, through the Japan International Cooperation Agency, with the Asia Development Bank, the World Bank, for our major flagship infrastructure projects, such as the Metro Manila Subway, which is supported by the Japanese government, the North-South Commuter Railway, which is co-financed with the Japanese government and the Asian Development Bank. But we have to leverage as well the private sector. So we are pushing a lot of public-private partnerships. This is quite relevant and quite demonstrated by our recent public-private partnership code and the implementing rules and regulations, where this emphasized the engagement of the private sector to support our transportation infrastructure initiatives, but also the other infrastructure that is required by government, such as schools, hospitals, and even mixed-use developments and housing. So we are broadening our funding sources to be able to build more. But we want to ensure the quality of our infrastructure as well. And how do we do this? It's by strengthening the institutional capacity of the department and other government agencies. We are ensuring the sanctity of contracts and the development of infrastructure. We have a larger focus on what we call the ESG, the environmental, social, and governance aspects of projects. So this is something we are incorporating in many of our ongoing and existing projects. And actually, that concludes my presentation for today. And again, I'm very much open to questions, and I hope to be able to answer them during the open forum. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, ASEC Leo de Velez, for your very insightful presentations on the latest projects updates within the department. Your valuable insights in the ongoing initiative will surely contribute to the nation's transportation landscape. May we request our participants to type in their questions in the chat box to be handled by our moderators in a while. So for the open forum, may I call our dearest advisor from the NREA National, Sir Marcelino Mendoza, to join me in moderating our open forum. Sir Mars? Welcome.
Yeah,
Welcome.
good morning, Ludette. Good morning, ASEC.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, ASEC. Yeah. Alam po nyo, bilib na bilib ako sa DOTR eh. Ang tingin ko ho, you're the most important agency, and well, with all due respect to DPWH, no? The real estate sector is very much looking forward to really collaborating with you because of the importance of transportation to community building. No, real estate is all about developing communities, whether residential, whether industrial, whether condominiums, and that is how important to us connectivity, no? And sana po yung mga inquiries namin sabihin natin maganda maliwanagan, kasi ang participants po dito ay really very well varied, diverse, at pwede po dahil sa laki po ng coverage ng DOTR, not to be confused with DOT, I suppose, no? Ay very important po na magkaroon talaga ng after this webinar ay marami hong value added talaga na makukuha ang mga participants, no? Siguro po ang first question ko po, ano ba ang coordination ngayon ng DPWH at DOTR? To put everything siguro in proper perspective first.
You're asking, sir, about the coordination between DOTR and DPWH?
Yeah. Coordination or collaboration. Kasi marami rin projects yung DPWH shown later in the slides.
Yes, sir. We work closely with DPWH. So, for example, in many of the ongoing railway projects that we're working on, such as yung Metro Manila Subway, yung North-South Commuter Railway, puntang Clark at Calamba, ang DOTR po yung gumagawa nung station, nung railway station. Pero po yung access roads, kasi po, what happens when we build a new railway station, dadami yung tao na kailangan pumunta dun sa railway station na yon. Yung DPWH naman po yung tumutulong sa amin gumawa or mag-expand ng what we call yung access roads. So maybe, for example, yung existing road ngayon going to the railway station is only 2x2, 4 lanes. DPWH would help us expand that to 6 lanes. So there is a very close collaboration with DPWH when it comes to improving access to our train facilities. So palagi po kami in touch at the PMO level, at the project management office level, and at the implementation level.
Yeah, thank you po. Marami po sa participants natin, very active po yung ating Pampanga chapter, and then yun pong Bataan chapter, si Ludet, no? There is a lot of activity ngayon dun sa connectivity between Manila, Clark, and Subic. Can you expound po? Ano po ba what do we expect more from this triangle?
Thank you, sir, for the question. So last week, there was a trilateral summit among President Marcos, President Biden, and Prime Minister Kishida of the US and Japan. So during that meeting, it was announced that the US and Japan would help us develop the Luzon Economic Growth Corridor further. So this would enhance connectivity in Subic, Bataan, Clark, and towards Manila and Batangas. So we are working on a railway from Subic to Clark to Manila and further to Batangas with US and Japanese support. So ito po yung priority dito sa area.
Ano po timeline natin dito para makapaghanda po and ma-anticipate ang real estate business activities dito sa triangle na to?
For the timeline, sir, ang mauna talaga dito is yung North-South Commuter Railway, which is ongoing. But itong Sariles from Subic to Clark to Manila to Batangas, we hope to have groundbreaking within the administration. Ka-announce lang po kasi last week with the governments of the US and the government of Japan that they will support this growth corridor. So this is just the starting point, sir, for this project. So within the administration, we hope to have groundbreaking.
Yeah.
We do anticipate this with really siguro pumapalakpak yung ating mga members mula sa ear to ear, no? Grinning from ear to ear, no? Ludet, you might have some rejoinder to that?
Yes, opo, Sir Mars, no? Syempre, masaya ang mga taga-Bataan at taga-Pampanga for that information. So, infrastructure and information overload po tayo with the programs of the BBM. So, Sir, tanong lang po for the second question, ASEC Leo. Recently po, the PPP Code of the Philippines was just signed by BBM last December 5, and the implementing rules of regulation was made effective this April 6. So, bagong-bago po. So, for the transportation sector po, we're hearing we are open for 100% foreign ownership. Can you just give us some inputs or enlighten us for this aspect?
Sige. So tama po kayo na for transportation sector, 100% na yung pwede sa foreign ownership. So this includes airports, and more importantly for the real estate association, it's for the railways. So the railways can be 100% owned by foreign companies, foreign entities. We hope that this will unlock investments in the mass transportation space, because even though we're building already yung Metro Manila Subway, yung North-South Commuter Railway from Pampanga to Bulacan to Laguna, madami pa po tayong kailangan na mass transportation. As I mentioned, our focus is also on developing mass transportation in other parts of the country, particularly in Cebu, Metro Davao, Metro Cagayan de Oro. Just earlier this year, nasa Cagayan de Oro po kami to work on the Mindanao Railway dun sa Cagayan de Oro section. So this will be done through a public-private partnership.
Okay, thank you. Sir, just clarification din po, no? For the Subic Clark, meron na rin po ba tayong mga investors that are eyeing to be the pioneer or the lead company for that project?
So what happened is, originally the Subic Clark Railway was to be funded by a loan from the government of the People's Republic of China. However, this plan for financing did not push through. So what happened recently, and what was announced recently by the governments of the US and the government of Japan, is that they will support this project instead. But instead of just being from Subic to Clark, this will be from Subic to Clark to Manila to Batangas, in what is termed as the Luzon Economic Growth Corridor.
Wow,
so nag-change in financing po.
Okay, thank you for that one po. Sir Mars, do you have other questions to ASEC? And for the participants, you may type in your question so that we'll be asked to ASEC Velas to answer. Anyone from the floor? Okay. Sir Mars, are you still here? Okay, we have a question from Sir Jovi Tupas. How can the real estate industry collaborate with the Department of Transportation to develop transit-oriented developments?
A very good question. So on transit-oriented developments, what we hope from the real estate industry is to maximize land use around the stations that we are developing. So I think everyone has enough information on where the stations for the Metro Manila Subway and for the North-South Commuter Railway. So this is almost around 40 stations in total. And what we hope from the real estate industry, and where we hope you can collaborate on, is maximizing the land use of these areas. However, this is likely to be with the local government than with the national government, because the local government is the one that handles the land use plans of these areas. But from DOTR side, we hope that high density construction or buildings will be developed in these areas, maybe mixed use high density developments, because this maximizes the number of people that will use the railway. Just imagine the difference in number of people who would use a railway station compared to, say, low density subdivision compared to a high density mixed use building. This will benefit not just the development of the private sector, but this would also benefit the national government infrastructure, because that means we can expect more users of those train stations. So our hope is for the private sector to work with local governments in maximizing the land use around railway stations.
Okay, thank you for
Yeah,
that.
Asek, your answer is really very relevant kasi yung Department of Human Settlements really wants high density, and maganda yung high density dito sa TOD, sa Transport-Oriented Development. Ang nakikita po namin, yung mga private developers, I think, are well ahead on this. But the government, in terms of providing land for, sabihin natin, affordable housing, wala pong land masyado ang public or local governments or even the national government around the stations. Ano po ang initiatives ng DOTR regarding this?
You're correct, but this is usually a challenge with the areas around the stations. And what we are working on right now with the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development is trying to understand how national government can come in and push for, especially given the context of the president's housing program, how can we maybe purchase lands nearby, may not necessarily be dikit dun sa railway stations, but within maybe 1 kilometer away to the railway station, so that we can support and really push the housing program of the president, which is another priority push. So we're working very closely with DSUD. In fact, the Department of Transportation and DSUD have a memorandum of agreement to plan together new areas. So this is ongoing challenge, sir, that we're trying to solve.
Yeah, maganda po yan. Ang suggestion po namin, miski po sabihin natin more than 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, 4 kilometers, basta ho may connectivity. And ang challenge po sa amin, for example, as subdivision developers, yung pamasahe doon sa connectivity. There are a lot of places na walang public transport between, let's say, a subdivision or a commercial area and the hub or the transport node na nakaplano na, no? Ang nangyayari po, yung iba, ang pinakamahal, tricycle. Yung tricycle po ay maybe 5 times, 10 times ang fare kaysa public transport. And so, the affordability level, hindi na ma-afford yung development dahil lang sa mahal ng transport. Siguro po, isa sa pwede naming suggestion, yung connectivity dun sa activity area, whether it is residential, whether it is industrial, ma-enhance pa natin relative to the transport-oriented developments. Kasi we have to take into account the total expense. Kaya po ang nangyayari, yung ating mga resettlement areas ay lumilipat ulit, pabalik sa core city, core area of the metropolis dahil nandun ang trabaho. Everybody knows that. No, we need not even discuss this here. But yung connectivity po sa transport is really a big challenge para dun sa mga residents and even workers. So the transport-oriented development has been really proven time and again, and even time immemorial in other countries, and so it should also be applicable here. So, yung po sana, kung meron tayong, I don't know which government agency, no? Ang nangyayari po, yun, gaya ngayon, marami pa rin tricycle ang connectivity, which is very expensive. May comment po ba kayo doon, Asek?
That's correct. So what we're working with the local government, sir, is to develop what we call the Public Transport Route Plan, the LPTRP. This is part po nung PUV modernization po natin. So madami pong area where instead of tricycle, ang ginagawa po namin with the local governments is magbukas ng bagong ruta para sa mga modern jeepneys. So,
yeah,
po,
very commendable po yan.
Affordable
sana po yung collaboration can be upscaled lang and even
actually
planned well ahead.
In fact po, this is actually something maybe the Real Estate Association can work on with LTFRB, sir. Kasi pwede po mag-apply ng mga ruta yung mga homeowners associations.
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm. So
maganda nga.
Pwede po kayo magbukas ng sariling ng jeepney cooperative, modern jeepney cooperative na pwede po serve not just the subdivision or the development but also multiple stops along the way to the train station.
Yan, maganda yan. Kasi bago yan eh. Ibig sabihin, bago yung mga train stations na ruta eh. Ludette, you might have some questions there. Relative lang dito po sa TOD. Ano po nangyari lang doon sa North Trail na dati ng, I think, the GMA administration?
Na-cancel na po yung loan na yun. Na-cancel na po yung loan na yun. Tinake over push ng Japanese and ng Japanese government.
Wala na po ba yun? Wala na po ba yun? O pareho rin?
Same yung po yung ruta. Yung ruta po pareho, pero yung nagpaponda po nagbago. Dati po China, pero hindi na po natuloy yon. So ngayon, yung Japanese government po yung gumagawa na ngayon ng Riles. So yan po yung nakita nyo ngayon sa MacArthur Highway going sa Bulacan and sa Pampanga. Nakikita nyo na po yung mga bagong station sa Marilao. Actually, sa harap po ng SM Marilao, malaki na po yung station. Sa may Malolos. Kita na po yung mga poste. Tapos na po actually yung mga poste.
So, dati po merong mga tinanggal na informal settlers. So, hindi na concern ngayon yung mga informal settlers with this new route. Wala nang informal settlers po na dadaanan o maapektuhan?
Meron pa po, madadaanan. So we're working po with NHA to resettle these people po.
Complete na po yung north. Sa south po, I understand, meron din dyan eh, di ba? Yung South Rail naman, I think NHA also, and I think a portion, SHFC is in charge.
So to clarify po, the name of the project, hindi po siya North Rail, South Rail. Ano na po siya, ang tawag is North-South Commuter Railway. Ibang project na po to with the Japanese government. And yes po, meron po pa tayong relocation activities for informal settlers. Pero po, I understand na what we're trying to do po here also is develop other types of housing, hindi lang po for informal settlers.
Yeah. The local government is very much involved and siguro ito yung maganda rin na maisama dun sa 4PH, yung flagship program naman sa housing. I think the flagship program for housing 4PH is still on the It's ongoing, and there are a lot of areas that can still be integrated with the transport plans of the OTR. And sa NAREA po, we are most willing to become platforms by which the coordination can be upscaled. Ludette, you have some questions? Wag
Yes
lang
po,
Pampanga language, ha?
Opo, yes po, oo. Actually, we have one question from our chair lady, Ma'am Imelda. To ASEC Leo, can you walk through us or provide us the list of the 40 stations and their specific locations po if the time will permit so that we may be able to become aware of this one and plan ahead on getting land and projects in that areas.
Yes po. These are available naman po sa DOTR website. So sa DOTR website, meron po kaming page doon with the maps of the different projects and the station locations.
Okay. So we'll just have it access. Okay. So any more questions? I think ASEC has another meeting to attend to. So if there is no more questions from the floor, Sir Mars, do you have any questions to ASEC?
Well, siguro, I have two last questions.
Okay.
I have quite a lot of questions, but we have to respect the ASEC's timetable or appointment schedule, no? Two questions lang po. Number one, kasama po ba, dati may naririnig ako yung Maritime Highway. This is for our participants who might be somewhere in the Visayas or even Mindanao. Yung Maritime Highway ba ho, kasama pa rin sa plans and objectives? And number two question, maganda ho yung ridership ng nung EDSA busway, yung carousel, no? So, ano ho ang future noon? A lot of our listeners or viewers might also want to see the future of EDSA. Yung dalawang question lang po, ASEC.
Sir, the priority talaga, sir, is to have the Metro Manila subway completed. Kasi the Metro Manila subway will be able to carry 1 million passengers per day. Congested na po ang EDSA, and even if we're able to enhance pa EDSA busway and also yung MRT, may limit po talaga dyan. So the solution is to provide what we call alternate corridors. So one of the major alternate corridors is the development of this Metro Manila subway.
Yung ano lang po dito, wala po ba tayong balak na magkaroon ng congestion charge sa EDSA or sa Metro Manila? Like Singapore, you cannot just own a car, you just have to have a parking space, you have to have a certification before buying the car, and a limit to what urban spaces can really accommodate. Wala ho pa bang congestion charge na pinaplano?
I believe po that would be part of the scope of MMDA or the Metro Manila Council. So, pag ganyan po, mas local po kasi yung matter. So, kami po sa national
yung Maritime Highway po, meron ho bang update dyan? Yung connecting the islands?
Yes, sir. So PPA, our attached agency, PPA, is continuing massive investments in our port infrastructure.
Good. That is very good po. Maganda po yung mga plano talaga, no? I think there is a last question, Ludette, from Alma.
Yes po. Actually, ako rin po may pahabol pala kay ASEC. ASEC, pwede pa po ba kami? Hope you can still complete us.
Sure.
Actually, from the audience po kasi, there are a lot of appraisers also joining us with this one. So, in relation with the subway, dun po ba sa mga dadaanan ng ating subway, how do you parang treat those mga, alam po natin may mga villages na malalaki na dadaanan. So, for the appraisers, we are very much concerned on how to value those land. Paano po ba ang nagiging treatment ng DOTR when it comes to those affected areas? Di ba meron po tayong air rights? How about those that are below the ground? If you can share something about this one.
I think the appraisers should be familiar with Republic Act 10752. So that's the Right of Way Act and the implementing rules and regulations. And under those implementing rules and regulations, the compensation for subterranean property above 50 meters is 20% of the market value of the lot. So I believe they should know the Republic Act 10752 and the implementing rules and regulations.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Republic Act. So for the appraisers, take note of that 10752 so that you will be guided on how to appraise our clients' properties. In addition to the question of Advisor Marcelino, we also noted that the Tricycle Associations stops the existence of new public service facility. Question po to from Ma'am Emmy Pulido of the Metro CBD. So, is there any plan to improve also the railway train existing now from the south part of Divisoria, ASEC?
I believe those are two questions. On the tricycles, this is the jurisdiction of the DILG. So tricycles are regulated by the DILG. However, again, this is a matter for the local government unit and how they manage their stakeholders. So local routes and tricycle routes are managed by the local government units. Regarding the Divisoria side, we are working on the extension of the LRT2 towards the Pier 4. So there will be 3 new stations here, Tutuban, Divisoria, and Pier 4. So this is something that can be expected in the Divisoria area.
Okay, so siguro this will be our last questions to ASEC. In your personal assessment, what is the overall competitiveness of the Philippine infrastructure as compared against the 5 ASEAN countries? This is from our trustee Alma Grace.
I believe there are more than just 5 ASEAN countries, but I don't think I will be able to speak on this. This is probably an assessment better with NEDA or the Department of Finance. But I also don't think there are just 5 ASEAN countries.
Okay, so thank you once again, ASEC Leo, for joining us for today's business forum. Your insight and expertise will surely help us position our projects and how we will market and do land banking to develop and complement with the DOTR projects. So, for the presentation of our certificate of appreciation, may we call on our Vice President, Sir Jovi Tupas, to present the certificate to our speakers.
Thank you very much, Consultant Ludette. In behalf of the National Real Estate Association, this certificate of appreciation. This certificate is proudly presented to ASEC Lionel Cray P. Develes, Assistant Secretary for Planning and Project Development, Department of Transportation, in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association as our special guest and resource speaker during the NREA Business Forum online entitled Infrastructure Project Update on April 17, 2024 via Zoom and the NREA Philippines Facebook Live. Signed by Board Chair Lady Consultant Imelda C. Magtoto, signed by National President Mr. Red J. Rosales, signed by our Chair Emerita and Chair Lady Board of Trustees, Congresswoman Marisa Del Mar, and signed by our Secretary General, Consultant Ludette Bernadette B. Carlos. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ASEC.
Thank you po.
Thank you so much and have a good day.
Okay, this certificate of appreciation is proudly presented to our NREA advisor, Mr. Marcelino C. Mendoza, in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association as moderator during the NREA Business Forum Online entitled Infrastructure Project Update on April 17, 2024 via Zoom and NREA Philippines Facebook Live. Signed by Board Chair Lady Consultant Imelda C. Magtoto, National President Mr. Red J. Rosales, Chair Emerita and Chair Lady of the Board of Advisors, Congresswoman Marita Del Mar, and our Secretary General, Consultant Ludette Bernadette B. Carlos. Thank you very much, sir.
Maraming salamat, Enrea.
Thank you, Sir Mars. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Sir Mars.
Thank you. Welcome.
So before we move on to the next part for the DPWH updates, let's watch our two sponsors as they present their projects.
Golden Haven Memorial Park is known for its thematic memorial parks with inspirations around the globe. We are Golden Haven Memorial Parks, and this is our story. Established with a nationalistic objective, Golden Haven was brought to life in 1982 by former Senate President Manuel P. Villar Jr. It is part of his vision to create brands that are continuously woven into every step of Filipino lives. Considered revolutionary in the industry, Golden Haven boasts of themed memorial parks modeled after the world's most iconic locations and created by the country's most respected architects and engineers. With landmarks such as the famed Christ the Redeemer statue in Golden Haven, Cagayan de Oro, the Nuestra Señora la Virgen del Pilar in Golden Haven, Zamboanga, the Imperial Gardens of Golden Haven, Cebu, the Pope John Paul II statue in Las Piñas, among many others, Golden Haven strikes a perfect balance between solemnity and sophistication. Golden Haven believes that every Filipino dreamed to leave a lasting legacy in his hometown. Thus, through Golden Haven's massive expanse of over 30 projects nationwide, the promise of meaningful repose is a reality for the Filipino anywhere in the archipelago. With a wide plethora of products from loan lots, garden niches, columbarium vaults, to the grandest of them all, the esteemed family estates and mausoleums, Golden Haven provides plenty of options for its clients to invest in. Whichever the choice may be, all Golden Haven clients are assured that their investment is of top quality and will carry the promise and philosophy of excellence that Golden Haven has been adhering to maintain the title of Premier Memorial Park developer in the country. Since its establishment in 1982, Golden Haven has helped millions of Filipinos be prepared for the most challenging times. Despite its inevitability, plenty of the Philippine population regard debt preparations as a non-priority. Hence, when time does come, expense triple or even quadruple in comparison. This is the reason that Golden Haven is arduously working to be the top of mind for Filipinos, both online and offline. As a general reminder that preparation comes a long way.
More than answering the basic need for death care, Golden Haven has been a goldmine for Filipinos who have dared to invest in its grandeur. Dubbed as the most lucrative low-maintenance investment option, Golden Haven's investors are treated to an average of 20% annual increase in valuation. Lot values are only expected to rise with time as Golden Haven has shown robust expansion and consistent market capitalization through the years. Being born of a visionary's penchant for progress, Golden Haven has stayed attuned to the times through leveraging technological advancements. Golden Haven's investors and clients can expect top-notch touch points all throughout their customer experience lifecycle. Regularly updated inventories and fully immersive 3D site tours can be accessed from any mobile device. For account management, Golden Haven has developed a mobile application where account holders can manage their accounts or pay their monthly dues. A seller application is also up for all accredited sellers of Golden Haven to manage their sales, check their commission payouts, and view the status of their client's account. Interment attendees can also remotely be a part of their departed solemn rites through the revolutionary technology Wake Connect, bringing distant families closer during the most trying times. Golden Haven Memorial Park's social responsibility is built within mind, geared for the long-term sustainability of both business and the immediate environment. Open spaces and greeneries are ample in all of Golden Haven's park, while offices are powered by renewable solar energy. A testament to Golden Haven's commitment towards a more holistic future. Golden Haven Memorial Chapels is the beacon of premium death care in the Philippines, established in 2017 in its flagship branch Las Piñas and followed by another branch in Angeles, Pampanga. Golden Haven envisions to become the staple, top-of-mind choice for clients for its sophistication and its complete array of services. The newest addition to the Golden Haven family is the Golden Haven Pet Crematorium. Launched in October 21, 2023, Golden Haven Pet Crematorium, located in Pulang-Lupa, Las Piñas, features state-of-the-art facilities and equipment to ensure a gentle and compassionate care for our pets. This venture completes the premier death care services Golden Haven has long committed to provide in the country.
Thank you once again to our sponsors, SMDC and Golden Haven Memorial Park. Next to our program is the Department of Public Works and Highways Infrastructure Updates. As we all know, infrastructure and transportation are the backbone of any thriving nation, serving as the arteries that connect communities and drive economic growth of a nation. As what ASEC Leo Develos discussed a while ago, from roads, bridges, railways, airports, these vital systems enables the movement of people, goods, ideas, laying the foundation for the progress and prosperity. Let's watch the DPWH infrastructure updates as of March 2024 and see how we can position and take advantage in our own respective fields and areas. Where to do our land banking and focus our real estate activities. Let's maximize the benefit from the government initiatives and programs. So let's watch this video and presentations. Okay, wow, na wow. Nasundan niyo ba lahat ng projects? Okay, so today marks the dawn of the new era for the Philippines, 'di ba? Napakaraming projects. Agree ba kayong lahat diyan to all our audience? So the Build Better More programs of our President Bongbong Marcos, it is indeed a testament of the unwavering commitment of our national government to position our country as a destination haven for investment, business, tourism, and a place to really to live and retire. So just to give some highlights on the presented projects, a lot has been presented. So under the Philippine Development Plan's Public Investment Project, we have 3,777 infrastructure programs, activities, projects that are worth 17.3 trillion as identified as priority for the medium terms. So meaning, bago matapos ang administration, this will happen. So we have 185 high-impact infrastructures. Malamang we lost count habang pinipresent yung mga video sa dami. The flagship project spread all over the Philippines. So ito, take note nyo, gaano karami ang nasa Luzon. We have 75 infrastructures in Luzon. So kaway-kaway ang mga taga Luzon. 24 in Visayas. 36 projects in Mindanao. We also have 15 nationwide projects and 37 inter-region infrastructures. The massive investment in infrastructure are geared toward the following. So na-identify din during those presentations sa slides na present sa atin kanina. There are 134 physical connectivity that are geared with this one. 29 projects pertaining to water sources, 9 in agriculture-related infrastructure, 5 in health, 3 in digitalization, 1 in power and energy, and 1 in education. So di ba nakaka-excite na makita at mapanood during this forum, ano-ano ba ang mga programs ng ating government. The programs will surely pave the way for a brighter future where every Filipino can thrive and succeed. Nakaka-proud to hear all of the projects of this part of the priority program of the Marcos government. I'd like to remind again everyone, our participants in this forum, that this business forum is recorded. It will be made available on our NREA Facebook page. So please do like our Facebook page and benefit with this kind of forums and a lot of materials that you can take from like our NREA Philippines for those who may have missed it or would like to revisit the content of this webinar. And of course, our previous webinars were also uploaded in our Facebook page. We will be also providing a copy of the slides for the DPWH infrastructures updates. Just key in your email address in the chat box if you wish to receive one, and our secretariat team will send in your respective emails in the next few days. So another good news to all our NREA members of the national and the chapter, the CPD Council grant us 1 CPD credit unit for attending this business forum. As a privilege of being an NREA members, so to all our guests who are not yet a member of NREA, join our organization by contacting the nearest chapter in your place, and together let's learn and do business. To NREA members, please make sure you log in via Zoom for your attendance certificates. Make sure also to type in your complete name for the certificates. The certificates will be given by the Secretariat, so please coordinate through our contact numbers, which will be shared in the chat box as well. So in a few minutes, we will end this business forum. But before we do it, let's thank our sponsors for the for always supporting all our activities. So let's watch the AVP of our sponsors. Thank you. Thank you once again to our sponsor. As we near the end of today's business forum, I'd like to thank our speaker, ASEC Leo de Velez, and Sir Marcelino Mendoza, our advisor, who help us moderate our open forum, for sharing their expertise and insights with us. I'd like to thank all of you also, our participants, for joining us today. Your engagement and interest in the latest infrastructure projects are truly inspiring. Before we close, may we call our board chair lady, Ma'am Imelda Magtotot, to give us her closing remarks.
Good day, everyone. Before that, I would like to give the certificate of appreciation to Ms. Lodette Bernadette B. Carlos, our NREA Secretary General. In sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association as MC during the NREA Business Forum online entitled Infrastructure Project Updates on April 17, 2024 via Zoom and NREA Philippines Facebook Live, signed by yours truly, Consultant Imelda C. Magtoto, the Board Chair Lady, our National President, Mr. Red Rosales, our Chair Emerita and Chair Lady of Board of Advisors, Congresswoman Marisa Del Mar, and our Secretary General, Consultant Bernadette Carlos. Ms. Ludette, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mami.
You are an excellent MC, equipped with data, and we're proud of you. Thank you, Ms. Ludette. So for our closing remarks, infrastructure provides rural access and community. It strengthens economic competitiveness, employment opportunities, help reduce congestion, improves quality of life, and appreciate property values. So this is important in our real estate industry. Our infrastructure projects contribute a positive impact in our country. Thank you, and more power to our speaker, Asek Develes, our moderator, Sir Mars Mendoza, our NREA advisor, also the chairman of OSHDAP, also our officers, members, chapters, secretariat. Special mention to our EVP, Ms. Lauren Sales, for that wonderful opening remarks. Also our participants and friends, we would like to invite you in our NREA Chairperson's Cup Invitational Golf Tournament at Wakwak Country Club in Mandaluyong on May 15, and our NREA Deschutes National Convention on May 16 to 17 at the Makati Sports Club with the theme NREA Realizing the Dream of Our Thriving Real Estate Industry. So see you all. Mabuhay everyone, and cheers!
Cheers! Thank you everyone for joining us today, and we'll see you again on May. Watch out for our upcoming activities that we prepare to all of us, and see you again, and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, thank you.
Good day po, bye-bye.
Picture muna,
Bye-bye. Picture daw.
PPT muna daw.
Okay, we still have our ABP.